Hey, you guys, and welcome to the Steele Wars Hypernews. I am comedian Steele Saunders, and I do love Star Wars, and for the next hour or so, we'll be talking all the week's news, and there is a lot. If someone in the chat room can let me know if we can be heard, that would be really kind of them. And if you can't hear me, well, it's going to be really, really sad. And we'll just have to do it off call-ins because... But we're hearing video and audio is back. Such a big week in Star Wars. So much news from The Mandalorian. We've got directors, we've got casting rumors, and 3 episodes of Star Wars Resistance, which I found quite delightful. And Emily Lind, you almost make me burst into tears with the comment in the chat room of, I appreciate Steele's persistence. That is very kind, but I would have to acknowledge that you did spell my name incorrectly. There is 3 E's. 3 E's. Joining me on today's podcast are my great friends, the king and queen of Star Wars YouTube. And amazingly, I mean that as a compliment. It's Alex and Mollie from Star Wars Explained. How you doing?
Thanks. That's quite the intro.
Yeah.
Well,
Good.
I'm just trying to get it all in now because we've had a few restarts. I'm extremely awake and tired because I am a new father. I've got little Harrison now. Or if my podcast friends named him, his name would be Content Sizzle Saunders. But we went with Harrison Saunders, and he's just an absolute delight. But I'm not getting much sleep. And I was explaining to Mollie and Alex before, it's like that Battlestar Galactica episode where they have to hyperspace every, what was it, Mollie? 33 minutes?
33 minutes.
Yeah, and that is, I have to wake up every probably 120 minutes, and it's... But, you know...
If Bill Adama can do it, so can you.
Yeah, but he wasn't changing nappies. Do you know what I mean? He just wasn't. He just wasn't. And we're going to be taking your calls. I cannot wait to talk to you. And a fair few have been on hold for a fair bit. If you want to call in, if you're in the chat room, I posted it at the top of that on YouTube. And the number 646-668-8360. We'd love to hear what your thoughts were on Star Wars Resistance, how amped you are for The Mandalorian, and all that good stuff. Star Wars Resistance, Mollie, what is your verdict of the first few episodes?
I really liked it. The very first episode was fantastic, I think. And it blew my expectations away.
I lowered my expectations because, you know, like we were hearing it was going to be super kiddie, and you know, I just wasn't getting a solid vibe on it. But then everything that we've seen from you know, all the trailer and that got my hopes up. But I think because I went in a bit lower, I was thrilled. I had a delightful time.
Yeah.
And if I was like a 10-year-old kid, I would be begging my mother for a brand new VHS tape to be recording this with. This is some top shelf 80s VHS action, and I mean that in the kindest of compliments. Alex, where are you at?
I was the same way. I feel like the trailer, especially that first one, almost made everyone lower their expectations. They're like, yeah, this does look really childish. It made the comedy look like relentless, but that was like, it's like a trailer that shows you every joke in the trailer. That was what it did, and it was very well spread out, I thought, and most of the jokes landed for me. I thought it was really funny. So yeah, the first episode I thought was really good. The second two, I didn't like as much. I think the second one was pretty solid. The third one, I can see people slapping the filler label on it like they would with Star Wars Rebels, but I have a feeling a lot of those story beats are going to come back. So yeah, the first one was my favorite of the bunch, and the second two were good, not great. Good enough.
I particularly like the aliens we're getting. There's some sweet, some OGs getting some background props. which I have been really enjoying. Now, my thing with it is, Rebels often frustrated me. Bits I liked, bits I didn't. I'm going a lot softer on this one because they're aiming it lower, and from what we know, there's not going to be like you guys are not going to have to make any like super in-depth videos about how this cartoon changes the canon. Do you know what I mean? As long as we're not losing, like Rebels made itself important by killing Darth Maul, one of, the most iconic characters in the last 20 years of Star Wars. But I think if they keep it sort of, a contained story over there that doesn't, you don't need it to follow Star Wars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It depends on how far they go into the New Republic, I think.
Yeah, there are some things I think you could touch on.
Could get some New Republic information that might be vital or just interesting.
I mean, they gave us like little things like the T-85 X-Wing, which is something that we've known about for a long time and just haven't seen. So it's little stuff like that.
Listen, I've even forgotten what ship you just said, the T-87 or something. That is not vital to follow the Star Wars canon.
I agree.
I'm talking about the death of Darth Maul. The second or the third death. One of the deaths of Darth Maul.
You're telling me that the new X-Wing isn't as big as the death of Darth Maul? Be gone with you.
Well, we're going to see the death of the entirety of Hosnian Prime in this show, probably.
I expect, yeah.
My one nitpick with the show, my little thing that I'm clinging to that I'm going to enjoy complaining about every week is the X-Wings, their wings open too wide. They're like, it's like they've been doing Pilates or something. They're just too much like ship spreading. I like a tighter X. This one's it's killing me. It's killing me. I want my Ewok eyes open, and I want my X-wing wings kind of closed.
Yeah, they're starting to look too much like TIE fighters.
At what point does it become just an I-wing? It opens all the way up.
I want a lower I-wing. Do you know what I mean? I also want a little dot, like at the top of it, that just floats.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sick. That'd be pretty sick. And then we had all the news from The Mandalorian, or just that it was called The Mandalorian, confirming Mr. Ward's report that it was going to be based on that. And then even more excitingly, or for me, I think it's such a rare thing, you've got Jason Ward hiding in a trash can somewhere in the greater LA area, like taking photos of the Mandalorian set. Did you guys check out the pics on Making Star Wars?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I imagine him like painted in some kind of camouflage with like tree branches coming out of the back of his shirt, just kind of like sneaking around.
I want to know if Disney is just mad that they happened to start filming down the street from him. Like, what are the chances?
What are the chances? They should have done their research. I picture him like, when Schwarzenegger's hiding in the mud at the end of Predator. I feel like he's like up against one of those Tatooine-ish looking walls. But I checked them out, the pictures, and it's obvious that there's at least two sets. There's like the Tatooine-ish one, and then there's another one that's sort of lava-ish. And I don't know, could it be Sullust with all that black dirt or black dust?
Yeah, there was a lot of it looked like black sand or something like that.
Could be.
Could be, was it Black Spire?
Batu? That's more like brownish dirt. I wouldn't be surprised if they threw Batu in there. They're putting Batu in literally everything.
Yeah.
They're really pushing it.
Well, I was so impressed. Like sometimes it's all connected, that stuff. I get a little bit cynical about that sort of thing. But I'm not sure if it's from the third episode of Resistance. I've only seen the first two. But there was Batu was in a photo or something.
Yeah, it was in Eager's family photo.
That's so dope.
I'm pretty sure that's Batu.
Yeah. Oh, it looks exactly like it to me. Hey, I just have to answer the door for a delivery. So talk about the directors for a little bit. Explain what's going on there, and I'll be back in 2 secs.
So,
Which director are you most excited about, Molly?
oh, you know,
Taika?
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, I think it's most people's
When
top choice.
when I saw the list of directors, I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
like my hype went up times 10.
I mean, I don't think we've seen a movie of his that we haven't liked.
No.
I love What We Do in the Shadows. We watch that multiple times a year, probably.
Yeah.
We saw Hunt for the Wilder People. We really like that. Of course, we love Thor Ragnarok.
And so Filoni's directing the very first episode.
Uh-huh.
And then we've got, who's the lady that did Jessica Jones?
Can't remember it off the top of my head. Someone in the chat can probably help us.
I remember
or
reading her
I'll
name and
pull up our
looking her
tweet.
up, and I was like, oh, I loved Jessica Jones, so I'm excited for that. Bryce Dallas Howard maybe got the directing itch from her dad
Yeah.
working on Solo. So, yeah.
Rick Famuyiwa. Rick Famuyiwa. I struggled saying his name so many times.
I'm actually glad I got you guys to go through the directors because I'm struggling with several. I've got to get some linguistics training on that one. We've had a few people on hold for quite a while, so let's go to one of those calls. 614, who are you and where are you calling from?
Hi, Steele. It's Rebecca from Perth.
Rebecca from Perth, our very own Captain Phasma. What is on your mind today?
Oh, well, I haven't been doing much Captain Phasma at the moment because I'm currently repainting my kit. So it's not sure if you can pick it up. It's raining in Perth and basically has been raining for 12 months now, which doesn't make good painting weather.
It sure doesn't.
And
But
so it's just like, I'm sitting here looking at a black Captain Phasma part in my backyard at the moment. It's just like, I just want to put chrome on this thing and be done with it again. But, yeah. So what?
What's on your mind, Star Wars wise? Even though that was a Star Wars thought, but continuing, what brings you to us today, Rebecca?
Oh well, first of all, love the content so far. It's been the best half hour of Crash Radio I've listened to.
Oh, how dare you!
Also, welcome to Parenthood, Steele. Enjoy.
Oh,
it
man.
doesn't get better, I can tell you from personal experience, but it's fun.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Look, in terms of sorry, in terms of Star Wars stuff, the Mandalorian, kind of looking forward to seeing that. I haven't seen too much of it, but I think it could actually be a pretty good series. They've got a lot of scope there as to where to go. Because they're not really there. It's not like we are on the bad side, we are on the good side with this series. It's just like, here's someone that's kind of in a bit of grey area, and then they can go anywhere with the story.
Now,
I think it's a good choice.
what do you think, Rebecca? You know, you're a fan of the masked characters. Is the Mandalorian? What episode is the Mandalorian taken off his mask? Is he taken off his mask?
I think first episode, we're going to see him just kicking back on the couch, cracking a cold one, having just done some heinous crime, and then we'll see that, and then he'll go do a flashback, and then we'll see what he actually did leading up to him just sitting back there and having a drink and going, yeah, that was a tough day. So,
sounds like the Australian Mandalorian. That's very much my lifestyle. That what do you think?
Hey, if the guy's called Norm, sure.
Yeah, Alex, is he going helmetless? What's going on?
I have to imagine if the rumors are true and Pedro Pascal is playing the Mandalorian, which I think is a great pick if that's true. I can't imagine he would want to have his face hidden the whole series. So
Yeah, right.
I think he'll probably have his face out for most of the series. The helmet comes on when it's time for business.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm just going to look up. I did a poll. Oh my God, this iPad is running so slow, and doing graphics might be pushing it to the limit, but I'm going to try. It might not come up, but I will bring it up here. I did a poll about in Jon Favreau's The Mandalorian series, Boba Fett is alive and in it, alive but not in it, dead but name dropped, dead with zero mention. Where do you guys sit on that one?
They really don't care if he's in the series or not.
I like alive and barely mentioned. I don't know. Or maybe just hinted at that he could be alive.
I do think that he's alive. I don't think that he could pop up, but I don't think he's going to be a major part of the series. So name drop sounds likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's alive just based on Lucasfilm. Do you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
If someone's in doubt of being alive or dead, quite often they're alive, I've found. And especially when they're such a well-merchandised character. But interestingly enough, it got split down the middle pretty much with people that thought he was dead or alive. A few more people think he's dead. 44% went with alive, and it went 20% alive and in it, 24% alive but not in it, 42, which won, dead but name dropped, and 14% dead with zero mention. I reckon he's alive but not in it, but who knows, that last episode could have some sweet sizzle. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
That would be pretty cool if they name dropped him on the last episode.
Yeah. What's interesting is that if he's alive, he doesn't have his armor right now.
Yeah. He could be anywhere.
Right.
Anyone.
Yeah, which sort
so
of
who knows?
defeats the purpose of him coming back, doesn't it? Because isn't that what we
want to see? I mean, yeah. You'd want him in the armor, but it would be pretty cool if they got Tamira Morrison to kick a door down, and you'd be like, oh, that's Boba Fett without the armor. That'd be interesting, honestly.
And probably people listening to this show would say, oh, I don't mind if he's got different armor. I'd like it better. But for the mainstream audience, I feel like for Boba Fett to come back, it's seeing that, that action figure. They want that action figure back. Not
yeah, I do agree with that.
Not like an EU version. An Obi-Wan Kenobi in Snow Patrol. A great figure, whatever that was called. Anything to leave us with, Rebecca?
Yep. Yeah, this is a bit of a theory I thought of the other day, and it might be a bit on the controversial side regarding Episode 9, of all things. I think Lucasfilm has been gearing us up for R2-D2 and C-3PO to be killed in Episode 9.
Oh.
I know.
Cover yours, Molly.
And what this is based on is, if you look at the two standalone films so far, they've had a major droid character die in a dramatic way. I think they're trying to get us used to the fact that R2 and C3 are gone.
Interesting.
I actually think I thank you for your call, Rebecca. It's always nice to hear from you. And
I'm sorry, I know it's terrible, but
no. I love talking to you. So, but I will talk to you again soon as I answer this. I think it would be quite foolhardy to kill those guys in Episode 9 and to just like, I don't know, it'd have to be done like Kylo Ren would have to do it to show how those guys can't just blow up but I just think you're just cutting off your thumb to snub your face or something.
Yeah.
I haven't got my it must be in the mail. I'm meant to be getting this. As a father, you get sent all these sayings that you have to use from now on, and I haven't got it yet, so I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, do you think that they'll ever get rid of them, or if it's wise to get rid of them? It sounds a bit just like the Chewbacca killing him to, get some book sales.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought that they're, in my mind, I'm like, they're probably not going to destroy the Falcon. They won't kill off Chewbacca, and 3PO and R2 also fit my reasoning behind that, is because they don't age. I mean, you can put R2 is remote controlled basically from now on. So, but that would be emotional. And 3PO especially hasn't really done much in the past couple movies, and I think that that's not a bad point, is that they keep playing up droids in these movies, and L3, and being like, droids are people, and then if they turn around and kill 3PO, that'd be a gut punch.
3PO is always around for a little bit of comedic relief, though.
Yeah, it's just he's been in it less and less.
Yeah, they could have a moment where, I don't know, Kylo Ren sticks his lightsaber through R2 or something, and it could be a Rose moment where you think maybe R2
he's
dead, but then later on they're just fixing him up.
Well, they've done that before. They did that in the first movie.
Yeah.
Episode 9 is a rehash of A New Hope.
Oh, well, there you go.
Please. But R2, I can't imagine. I was thinking for like one of these TV shows or movies, what if they filmed a scene at Galaxy's Edge before it opened? Like they used that as the set.
That'd be pretty cool. Again, they're putting Batu and everything, so I can see him doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you'd have this added thing of like, not only are you at Star Wars land, but this is actually...
But they stood here.
Yeah, like this is actually in the movie, which is, one of the most thrilling places to stand, is where a Star Wars program or movie is getting made. The rural farm boy, who's a new Patreon member, so thank you, rural farm boy. He said that Tim Morrison probably be too old, which is probably right, considering that Boba Fett had a normal growth process.
I'm sure Daniel Logan would step up to the plate. And they would have to age him up a little bit.
Well, it's been how many years since Attack of the Clones was 2002? So it's been 16 years now. If anything, he's maybe too young, because it's been in the timeline like 50 years.
No, wait.
Oh, wait, no. I'm thinking all the way to the sequel trilogy, not to The Mandalorian.
Ah, Mr. Whoops. YouTube slipping.
I don't know. The math might work out all right. I mess up the sequel trilogy timeline all the time.
But yeah, Daniel Logan.
I did in my,
Sorry, Daniel Logan with a bit of roughing up, a bit of a few scars or something could go well. Let's go to another call. It is 443. Who are you and where are you calling from?
Hey, Steele, this is Aaron Reinhardt from Silver Spring, Maryland. How's it going?
I'm doing real good. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Well, first of all, Alex and Mollie, you guys are like the most pleasant people in Star Wars fandom right now. So thank you for reminding me that not everybody is terrible in this world right now. So
thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
So
Steele's pretty bad.
Yeah, right.
Well, Steele is awesome, but you guys are just, I don't know what it is, but something about you guys are always put a smile on my face. But
thanks, man.
So with what's on my mind is this Mandalorian show. Like, I mean, the Resistance is really cool because I have a 4-year-old at home, so it's another show that I can get excited about Star Wars with him without having to freak him out too much with some of the edgier movies, So that's cool. But I am particularly excited about the Mandalorian show. I do think that Boba Fett will be in it. But I hope that they don't actually unmask him and he's like sort of like a Luke Skywalker in Force Awakens type guy, like in the background, like talked about, like maybe he's like a big plot point. But I am more excited for like new characters and maybe exploring some of the Mandalorian stuff that we haven't seen yet, or like kind of putting that stuff as like legends. And I'm just really excited to speculate wildly until this show comes out.
Yeah.
That's
the fun of it, though.
But yeah, and I'm also, I mean, this whole thing, it's super exciting for like, being a fan of like Jason and making Star Wars. I mean, everybody's been like talking about the buzz around this news, and they sort of like I don't know forced, but Favreau pretty much came out with more info like a day after their podcast with them snooping around. So yeah, pretty exciting time again with Star Wars, and a lot less negativity going around. So it's a nice feeling.
It reminded me of when there was those photos of the Falcon, and JJ did that Instagram photo of the Dejeric table saying the rumors of the Falcon in The Force Awakens are overblown or made up. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when JJ was having fun on Instagram? Great days. Great days. Back when a Star Wars celebrity could leave their comment section open. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful
Right.
thing.
Right.
Yeah, definitely back to those days. But I do want to speculate one more thing, and this one's really important because Werner Herzog is supposed to be on the show. I mean, we're obviously in rumor zone right now, but I mean, do you think that he could be playing an in-universe documentary filmmaker who's like on Kashyyyk, documenting humanoids hanging out with Wookiees and how dangerous that is? Like kind of like being a little more meta with his like role with like the Grizzly Man documentary he did. I think that'd be pretty rad. Yeah.
I don't think they'll do it. But
No, of course not. But yeah, I mean that's where my head's at. Let's do some more. Let's get out there. I mean, they have so many opportunities to do so many different things with a television show than they do a movie, and just really excited about it.
I'm trying to block on YouTube here my head with the sun coming through. It's Alex is texting me that I've got to form such an eclipse. I've sort of got it. My head's huge. It should block out the sun quite easily, but obviously not. It's every time about 6 o'clock, and it's like that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark. It just lines up. But if you're enjoying the coverage of making Star Wars, I'd keep refreshing the page because I get the feeling he might be posting some more stuff soon. It's and the thing I like about it is it spoils nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just like, oh my God, there's going to be a planet that looks like Tatooine. What a Star Wars spoiler that is. It's
right. It's come to be expected now.
Yeah, it's sort of like, and there's going to be another planet or area with black sand on the ground or whatever, dust. But I think just fans are just thrilled that all of a sudden it's getting filmed. And out of all the rumors about who's going to be in it, the one I'm most tantalized with is Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed from the Rocky series. Yes.
I haven't heard that.
This is the first I've heard of this.
Yeah, no, it's Jason on the latest Now This Is Podcasting. He is apparently, however he has led him to think that John Leguizamo is going to be in it. That Carl Weathers is coming from the same source. So,
well, I did know about the John Leguizamo rumor, which I am very excited about because I love him.
Yeah, I think he would be a perfect fit for Star Wars.
But Carl Weathers could make a really awesome Mandalorian.
I just even though I knew him first from Rocky and Predator, now every time I see him, I think of Arrested Development. It's that's the character I think of first because I guess it is him, but.
Yeah.
He's an acting coach or something, yeah?
Yeah, and he's incredibly frugal. He's always looking for ways to save money.
Aaron,
Adam Green, baby, you got a stew going.
Yes. What were your thoughts on Star Wars Resistance? Did you check that out? Aaron, are you still
talking
there?
to Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I was pretty stoked on it. Again, I have a 4-year-old, so I'm excited to share that with him and kind of see it more through his eyes. I mean, it's there's nothing disappointing in it at all, but you sort of know what you're getting into before you start the episode in a way. But as far as the tone and the audience they're targeting, and I mean, it's just a fun Star Wars, little sideline thing. But it's the lore that I'm more focused on, is not really there, but it's not in a negative way, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, they tested it with, I think, 6 to 12-year-olds was the test audience for it, and tested really well. And that was one thing that I was really excited about when I heard that they were coming out with the show, was not really excitement coming from me, but more excited for people with kids to be able to have another Star Wars show to watch with them as they grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as I pointed out,
Absolutely. I mean, yeah.
As I pointed out on Twitter, I watched it with my son, and he didn't get a single reference. It was really frustrating. So.
Aaron, how did your kid do? If we put child up against like, Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, he references are not always like when I think they're being lost on him, he'll just bring up something randomly like, you know, I showed him some of the Star Wars visual guides and things like that, and actually a lot of that lands with him more than the movies because he's able to just stare at those pictures, kind of like I'm sure how we all did growing up too, but with him, it's like to see that part of it. Yeah, exactly. But with him, that part is like the one that brings like the most joy, I think, because he'll be like, hey, like he, sorry to go on a tangent, but he actually realized that the Praetorian Guards look sort of similar to the Crimson Guards from Return of the Jedi, and he's like 4 years old. He's like 3.5.
That's awesome.
He's pointing that stuff out. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
All right, now you've set the bar for me, Aaron. Now I'm just like, okay, at age 4, he has to be able to tell the Praetorian Guards from the Royal Guards. So, okay, it's good.
We should write like a child rearing book. Like,
yes.
Here's where your son should be, or daughter.
Yeah.
At the age of 4, they should be able to recognize that the Praetorian and the Imperial Royal Guard are very similar.
That would be delightful. And I think Alex and Mollie have dropped out suddenly, but... Oh, no, you're still there. Alex?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for some reason...
Can you hear us?
Yeah, it said you dropped out, but you did not. But Aaron did. So I'm not sure what happened there. A little glitch that is quite minor in the scheme of things today. I'm too scared to bring this up on the screen because my iPad is... I think everyone's tired. My iPad probably is tired because I've been using it to play Storm, like 10-hour Storms sound effects. I put it underneath my son's crib, and it makes him sleep soundly. There's a little tip I read in a book. So
I have a Storm Sounds app that I play every night on my phone.
Ah, okay. Well,
you're basically a little baby.
Well, maybe.
I was going to say you're ready to have a baby now because that's all you need. That Storm app, you're good to go. But I saw this thing on Twitter. It's getting shared about a little bit. And it's a Twitter exchange involving Mark Hamill. And a tweeter, I won't bring up his name, but he doesn't have an avatar, which is my favourite sort of tweeter. He writes, "The Last Jedi should be stripped from the canon. Poorly written and edited. SJW crap from start to finish." Even the credits? Come on. Disney has lost a lot of fans. Even Mark Hamill hated it. And then someone saw this and tweeted paging at Mark Hamill to the refuting counter. At Mark Hamill, please refute this bullshit. Pardon my language, but I was just reporting what was tweeted. And then Mark Hamill slides in, jumps, gets the lightsaber, and... writes a tweet with it that says, "Never said anything close to that." So it's interesting what people choose to hear or what YouTube channels that edit sentences out of context choose to believe. But good on Mark Hamill, you know?
I know. I love that he replied to that because I'm sure he gets tagged in just so many arguments.
Yeah.
That are basically the same thing.
So many. Let's we've got one more person on hold. So if you want to call in, it's 646-668-8360. The number is on the YouTube page. But let's go to 614. Who are you and where are you calling from?
Hey, Steele and Mollie and Alex. This is King Tom from Ohio. How are you guys doing?
Ah, King of all kings.
Great.
King Tom. You're actually on you were the co-host of the last show, which seems like a lifetime away.
I wasn't. I was going to say congratulations. You know, it's. I'm sure for you, it's been a very long time since we've talked.
Yeah, a long time, buddy, a long time. But for someone that follows Star Wars podcasting and contributes and follows the news as much as you do, quite a week, yeah, quite a exciting week in Star Wars fandom.
A very exciting week. A bunch of great things to look forward to, plus Resistance, which I really liked. But the thing that I find myself most looking forward to is not even, and I say most looking forward to as in it's new and shiny, as opposed to we've had all this other old news a few days already. But you tweeted it out this afternoon. I must have missed it yesterday. But Marvel is doing a series, where they'll take an issue and devote it to a different character. One from, the Age of the Republic, then the Age of the Rebellion, then the Age of the Resistance. And you retweeted that a comic book writer by the name of Tom Taylor is going to be doing one about Snoke. And I'm very excited by this.
Sorry. Melbourne's own Tom Taylor.
Oh, you know what? I knew he was from Australia, but I didn't put that together. So I'm a huge fan. He's done some, he does an X-Men book, X-Men Red. He does the all new Wolverine. It's now called X-23, but I think his writing is great. And I know he's done some stuff with Dark Horse, for Star Wars. So I'm very glad to see him do stuff that's in the new canon, especially one with as big a character as Snoke. And I know we know nothing about the what it will be about or the impact it will have, but I'm just, is that something that you would pick up also, Steele and Mollie and Alex?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, we will.
I guess.
Yeah, these guys are mainlining that sort of stuff. But yes,
I feel like the Snoke comic. I'm excited for all those comics, but I hope that people. I imagine most people are hoping for a bit of Snoke's backstory, and so I hope that, I don't know, I don't want people to get their hopes up too much for that in case it doesn't exactly show enough of his backstory as people want.
I'm actually I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm expecting it to be, I don't know, I'm expecting it to be more vague, but hopefully it will defy my expectations. I'm glad to hear someone just excited about comic writers, because I don't follow comics outside of Star Wars, so to hear that he's written a lot of other good stuff is good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry, Tom. I'd actually be annoyed if you got too much of his backstory in the comic. Like, I just don't think that's the place for it. I'm hoping for one of those, like, Vader annual, like, just a contained story of him, during, the time of The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens, just before that. I don't know. I just think a one-shot comic is not the place to tell his backstory because it's so salivated over.
Right. Yeah.
I agree.
I wouldn't expect his whole backstory. I think like Alex said, I'm looking forward to it, but at the same time, I realize that it could be something like a day in the life of one of the Praetorian Guards, where it's, he's there and it's kind of like about what he's like behind the scenes, but it's not, nothing of substance. But I'd like something that gives us a little bit of background. Just, I think, I saw a list of the other characters getting them, and they're all, main characters in the sequel trilogy. So I just think it's interesting. And I've only started reading his stuff in the past year and a half. And I've been going back and reading some of the, back issues. And it just, I like his writing. It's very, at least for the X-Men stuff, it's political in a good way. and it deals with a lot of current issues. So, and I haven't read any of the Star Wars stuff he did for Dark Horse, but I can't imagine it's bad in any way.
Yeah, I would like to see something along the lines of like how, because we know Leia and Han both know about Snoke. They speak of him in Force Awakens, so
use his first name.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
They're on a first name basis.
first name
with him.
basis. So maybe
Yeah.
something timeline-wise, like whenever Snoke finds Kylo, or how he gets connected with him.
Yeah, I mean,
in the
I'd
first
love
place.
to see that. It's just I'm hopeful, or I'm like afraid that they're not going to want to do that for, like Steele said, a one-shot comic. They might want to save that for a big book or a comic series or something. But maybe, hopefully, I'd like to learn more about him.
Yeah.
The interesting
Yeah.
thing is that I'd sort of been told that anyone pitching Snoke stories, unlike Corey stories, and they were sort of getting like, no, we don't want to go into that. We don't want to go into that. So, it's interesting that they're cracking open a bit of Snoke, and yeah, I don't know. Do you think there'll be any is Andy Serkis contributing to Episode 9 in any way? Do any of you guys think? Do you think like there's these YouTube rumors about him in Episode 9? What do you guys? Thumbs up or thumbs down, Molly?
Thumbs up. But he could play anyone or anything. I don't think he'll beat Snoke, but I love Andy Serkis, and so I'd be happy for him to be in it in any way.
What about
Yeah,
you,
I'm
Alex?
like-
More about like a Snoke flashback or a Snoke ghost. I know that goes against ghost theory, but what are your thoughts about that?
I don't know. I have a theory that every Force Ghost Funko Pop that's been released will eventually be on screen.
They did a hologram for Snoke, right?
It was a
Was it a
hologram.
hologram? Well,
it was a
hologram.
hologram.
Yeah.
That is some amazing long-term planning there.
Well, it's funny
I'm very
because Qui-Gon
impressed.
Jinn has a Force Ghost Funko Pop,
Oh,
and he's never appeared as a Force Ghost yet.
Not yet.
But I really hope. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Don't
That's
get your hopes
another
up.
hope.
Don't get your hopes up because Liam Neeson's pretty picky about what scripts he gets. Do you know what I mean? So.
Really? I mean, he signed on for Episode 1. Hey-o.
Oh, damn! I was trying to get a
That's a
dig in.
joke. I love the Phantom Menace.
No. It's too late now. It's been broadcast. Remember the great days when you get accused of being a prequel hater? That was so good. I hated it at the time, but now I really miss that. That was the big contention in Star Wars fandom.
First, it was cool to hate on the prequels, and then it was really, really not cool. And I don't know if it's cool again or not. Definitely not on r/prequel memes.
Well, all right. Back to Snoke. I hope if Andy Serkis is in it and he's playing Snoke, as long as it's a flashback, I'd be okay with it. That's still kind of a departure from what Star Wars has ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Other than like the little flashbacks to the hut with Luke and Kylo, they haven't done a full-on flashback. So I don't know. He could be. There's a way it could work, but I'm hopeful that just as long as he isn't still alive, like, haha, I survived being cut in half like Darth Maul. I just that would annoy me. But
maybe he lives
otherwise.
on as a hologram. He's got the diaries, like the Calrissian Chronicles.
Yeah, his memories have been downloaded somewhere.
Snoke stories.
But I mean, who knows what that? The rumors are all coming from some sort of random scheduling conflict he had. He had to drop out of a convention. And yeah, Episode 9 is filming, but I don't know. Could be anything.
Yeah, and also,
I'm sure there are other movies filming right now.
and it sort of seems weird that all of a sudden they'd be like, "Oh, we need emergency Snoke. We've got unplanned for."
Yeah.
Snoke." just seems a bit odd. But I sort of think like, yeah, you could do it in a flashback, but in Star Wars, the saga films, it kind of feels like cheating. Like, do you know what I mean? There's sort of,
I agree.
yeah, flashbacks are super rare. Tom, awesome to chat to you, buddy.
Yes.
And anything to
Thank you for having me.
any parting words?
There's a lot of great Star Wars stuff in the future, some great Star Wars stuff in the present, and ton of good Star Wars stuff in the past, so I'm happy.
Nice. Thanks, Tom. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll listen to your voicemail on Blue Harvest or Rogue One or wherever else you're off now to sully yourself in the podcast arena. I'll hear you then. I look forward to it.
Thanks, buddy.
All righty, we've got 3 callers, so we'll just go rapid fire. 603. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Seamus. I'm from New Hampshire.
Hey, Seamus, what's going on, man?
I just want to say hi. Got to meet Alex at Dragon Con. I'm Supreme Leader Smeagol. Sorry, got a bit of a cough.
Oh,
but,
hey, Supreme Leader.
I wanted to know what you thought about the possibility of seeing Sabine again in Mandalorian.
I'm for it.
Yeah.
I don't think she'd be like. It's kind of like Boba Fett. I think she would pop up for a minute or two. Like, I think that at that point in time, she'll probably be off with Ahsoka searching for Ezra, and I feel like that deserves its own story, and it shouldn't be sidelined to whatever the Mandalorian is doing. Yeah.
If she doesn't show up, I do hope for a name drop at least.
I would love to see Timothy Zahn be able to tell that. He mentioned he had some ideas for that Dragon Con.
He did, yeah.
Ooh. I think what would be an amazing moment is, I would assume that Tia Sakar would play her, and just her face appearing, like taking the mask off or the helmet off in like a trailer or in an episode. Like, imagine a trailer at Celebration, and in that trailer, like the mask comes off and it's her. Like, people would they would be very excited. They would be peak excitement. So I think that'd be really cool. But
same with Bo-Katan and Katie Sackhoff. I really want to see that happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think like Tia, just because of like she's so I think people would just love a main character like that to jump over, and her and Katie Sackhoff seem like the only. There's not many that sort of look the look, except maybe Stephen Stanton and Grand Moff Tarkin. There's when he did that cosplay, that was pretty impressive. But anything to leave us with? Pardon my lack of speech ability.
Yeah, another thing I would really love to see is a mention of Cal Scarada or some of the characters from Republic Commando. I really love that series and like the Mandalorian culture that it gave us, and that's one of the big things I really miss from Legends.
Did you see that Clan Ordo was mentioned in the Scum and Villainy book that's coming out?
I did not. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's what they're here for, to explain Star Wars.
Super Mandalorian fan.
well,
hopefully we keep getting more and more clans.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have a good couple of years if you're a Mandalorian fan, just quietly.
Yeah.
But thanks so much for the call. Really appreciate it.
Yep. All right.
Nice. We're hearing from the chat room that the calls are sort of, when a new call comes in, it's the audio on the YouTube is wavering for a second. So it's been an interesting technical difficulty episode. So I apologize for that. It doesn't normally happen. I'm just going to go to 724. Who are you and where you're calling from?
Evening, Steele. Evening, Miss Mollie and Alex. This is King Tom's neighbor, Rural Farm Boy.
Ah, the Rural Farm Boy. How you doing, buddy? What's on your mind?
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Hello.
Well, amongst us three talking, howdy. Amongst us three talking, call me Anthony, please.
No sweat, Anthony.
Oh, what is on my mind? New Star Wars stories. How about that?
and what about them? What
All right.
What are you most tantalized about, Anthony?
I'll put it kind of like this. In 10 days, I'm going to be a 52-year-old 12-year-old. All right? So these new stories now here are the same as everything else that's come before them, right? Every story before this was a new thing that didn't do something that came before that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's exactly how I take everything else, everything that we have gotten and are getting and are going to get without keeping or without having. I can't say that I would ever have expectations for whether it's a film or a comic, which I don't follow, like King Tom. But you folks and our other Star Wars podcasting friends do a damn good job of keeping me up on that, so that saves me money. And novels, which I love, but I take all of that as just stories told to me because they're not mine, even though I love them as dearly as we all do. They ain't mine. Ain't never going to be. But it's someone telling me a story. So what we got now in Resistance, I love it. Because a lot of what Christopher Sean said in playing Kazuda, he's kind of like me. I'm the stumbly, bumbly farm boy. Same way. Goofball. And I love it.
That's exactly how I view it. Just like, I mean, the way we treat it on our videos is that it's like it's history. Mm-hmm. And it's we learn, oh, this happened too, awesome. Instead of like, oh, they should have done this. It's like, no, the writers should get to do what they want to do because they earned the right to tell the story.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And
I don't know.
I'm there with you all the time.
I don't know if I completely agree with that.
How so?
Wow.
Well, sometimes I feel like the actual story, I feel like that's theirs. Mm-hmm. That's fine. But sometimes I think they're a bit too cute with twisting previous details. Like, just let things lie. Like, you know, with like John Kasdan saying that Han telling Leia the story about throwing the rock at Madame Proxima's, you know, that scene at the start of Solo, that being the inspiration for Bush's thermal detonator in Return of the Jedi. You can keep it.
Yep.
You can keep it. Like, but, you know, the main story, it's just like those little things that they try to be a bit too clever with. It's like that there was like a thing that Star Wars, the Twitter posted about how C-3PO powered down in Ben Kenobi's hut because Ben Kenobi got Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber out and C-3PO is programmed never to spill any beans, ignoring the fact that he had his memory wiped. And it was just fine to just say he's powering down. Like that showed in the original Star Wars how the robots worked. Like a mundane thing. And then to like twist it, it's like, come on. Just, no. Please. Like, unnecessary.
That to me, Steele, is simple, and it's plainly simple. It's a to each his own thing. It's not something to get bent out of shape on some electronical social media place. It's, you like it, fine. You don't like it, fine.
Yeah,
I can. Take,
I also think. Let me jump in. I also think that you can have it annoy you in, like, it annoys me, but I'm having fun talking about it. Do you know what I mean? I think that's like it's how much emotion or how much effort you give to those things. Like that's like when I announced that my thing I'm going to be annoyed about in Star Wars Resistance is the X-Wing wings. Like it is like a very nerdish thing, and I'm going to go on about it like I go on about Ewoks blinking. Or
is it more emotion or is it more passion?
I'm sort of just making fun of myself for being like I take so much notice of any of this stuff. That. Yeah, so I think like fun-loving annoyance is all part of it. Do you know what I mean? Like just characters that you can't stand. Like that guy you got cut out of A New Hope, Biggs. Oh, worst. Like,
oh my god.
Oh yeah. Wow, and I was here for that. All right.
Well, yeah.
So,
See,
the
I think that.
Mandalorian.
I think that all of
No,
those kind of grievances that, okay, let's talk about, keep it on Solo. The idea that it was just kind of a name made up by an Imperial officer off the cuff. I think that's silly, but seeing people make jokes about it now, that's half the fun of it, and that's like the whole prequel memes subreddit. That's all it is now, is just having fun, laughing, and enjoying the prequels. That kind of stuff, I think that's just what those little nitpicky things turn into, and I think that's great.
Yeah, that's why I now like the sand scene because of how much fun it's brought to people. I'm now a big fan of the sand. But we've got two more callers. Anything to leave us with, Anthony?
Yes, and I've burned up a bunch of time, and I want to make room for other folks. So I will tell you three that I hope to talk to you again, and on each of your other respective audio places that I take you all abouts with me. I take you places you folks don't even know you go. I will listen. I will see you there, and may the force be with you, and I'll see you on the radio.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you, Anthony. All right. I feel bad because this show has been a bit hectic that I haven't got to everyone. So I will make sure we get our two last callers in. 585, who are you and where are you calling from?
This is Sam Scorsone from Rochester, New York.
Ah, Sammy boy. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Hey, not too much. Just been really into the New Resistance show. Watched the episodes twice already, so I've been really into that.
But those X-Wing wings, am I right?
Don't get me started on the X. Yeah, because I almost didn't believe it at first that they were so off. But so then I went back and found examples from the different movies and such. And yeah, I don't know, the angle's goofy on it. But I don't know. You could chalk it up to some sort of technical advantage type thing, but I don't know. I think it was an oversight.
And
I guess it's just a design choice, but
yeah, I think it's sort of the spread reminded me of those Republic fighters. They had a way wider. I don't even know what those fighters are called. What were they called, Alex? That was sort
the
of
R-70s.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Mollie.
At the start of Revenge of the Sith, they sort of had a wider girth. The color scheme though is so sick.
Yes.
There's a guy on Twitter, I think his handle is EC Henry.
Mm-hmm.
He did a mock-up of the new T-85, but how he would have designed it, so it's
like a realistic version of it, if it were in a movie.
Yeah, yes. And it looks awesome.
Also, shout out to him. He's a good YouTuber.
Yeah.
I did see you guys retweet
I like that turquoise. It's
pretty sick. They reminded me of a real iconic pair of Air Max 1s. There's a grey with sort of electric blue highlights, and they just look like a sweet bit of Air Force action going through, which will really upset some people on YouTube that don't like anything related to Nike, particular those the Force is Female t-shirts. They just anything related to those are very scary, very, very scary t-shirt. But that's just me. What else, Sam? What do you think about this Mandalorian?
I'm in for it. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be pretty good. I don't think I think all I want to see out of it, as far as Boba Fett and all that kind of thing, was I think it'd be a lost opportunity not to try to kind of weave Tamara Morrison into there somewhere. Not necessarily being Boba Fett, but either as Captain Rex, age him up, just I think it'd be great to see him again.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that he could just be a clone.
Right. Maybe he was at the Siege of Mandalore or something.
Interesting.
Maybe one of the...
If he did come
and then
back,
that would tie into the show.
That would be cool.
But if he did come back as Captain Rex, everyone would see him in Return of the Jedi and wonder why his skin's so much darker now. You know what I mean? Had to do it.
Boy.
Had to do it. Had to do it. Sam, thanks for calling in, my man.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Cheers. All right, we've got one last call. 225. Who are you and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Scotty J-Ro from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Hi,
Hey,
Steele.
Scotty.
Hi, Alex. Hi, Molly.
Hey,
Hello.
Scotty.
What is up, my people?
What's on your mind, buddy?
Oh, look, so this has nothing to do with Mandalorian or anything, but I really want to know y'all's opinions. How much do you think Luke will be in The Last Jedi? I'm sorry, Episode 9.
I hope it's about as much as he was in The Last Jedi.
Me
I
too.
hope
I was
we
thinking
get.
the same thing.
Yeah, I hope it's a significant amount of Force Ghost time, and not just like
So-
Obi-Wan popping in for a couple minutes.
This is my total pipe dream. This is like completely, this might be outrageous, but I still want to say it anyway. I was hoping they would do some sort of weird Force realm thing. You know what I mean? It would be like he has this parallel story going on with Rey or Kylo or anything, and he's just in this whole completely different place. Like he becomes one with the Force, but it's something we've never seen before. I don't know. Not like World Between Worlds kind of stuff. I'm talking like very out there. I don't know if JJ would do that though. That's something
That
Ryan
would
Johnson
be
would do.
cool. Like if we were to see what it's like to be one with the Force, which
Ooh,
we've
yeah.
only had that described in a together. Get all.
Oh, Alex and Molly, I'm losing. That is not very good. Oh, slow internet. Oh, you guys back?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, it just
We didn't
dropped.
go anywhere.
It just dropped off for a second, but you guys just sort of just faded out. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Oh my God, this is. I honestly, this whole show feels like a bizarre dream. I'm so tired. So, but
We're gonna pretend that we never did it, and we're just gonna we're gonna gaslight you. You'll be like, "Thanks for coming on the show." I'll be like, "I don't know what you're talking about, Steele."
Oh my God, that is amazing. Sorry, what were we talking about before we faded? The sound faded out for everyone. There?
I was wondering, how do you feel, what Luke will be in Episode 9? Do you think it'll be a Force Ghost, or my theory is that there'll be some sort of crazy Force realm we see?
Yes.
Maybe
yeah.
something that's like all white or all black, some sort of parallel dimension. I don't know. I know it's a little
Kinda
wild.
like when
but
Frodo puts the ring on.
yes.
I am.
Yes.
I am open to a Force realm, but please do not make it all white or all black. It just makes me feel like I'm watching the sad finale to The Matrix or something. Like,
Yeah, I was just about to
Wait,
say
what
the
about
Matrix.
in Infinity War whenever Thanos snaps and he ends up in that place where little Gamora was? Maybe something along the lines of that.
yeah, I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it should
Like
be
this.
all blue, and that's why all the Force Ghosts are blue.
Oh.
I thought you meant as a tribute to all the blue screen. They just,
Yeah.
and it would just save them doing an effect. It'd be like, whoa, blue. Great.
When you become one with the Force, you actually realize you're in a movie.
Oh, brutal.
They could never be that meta. That'd be extra.
All right, let's wrap it. Thank you so much for your call, and
Of course.
the Force Ghost. I hope Luke gets the most Force Ghost time in the history of Star Wars, which isn't saying much, but I don't know. I'm hoping for about 15 minutes of sweet.
Yeah, I mean, Alec Guinness
action.
did all of his shooting in a day for both Empire and Return of the Jedi, so hopefully Luke has more to do.
Yeah. And I also thanks so much for your call, by the way. And I do like that
Thanks, Scott.
he's one day on set in Return of the Jedi. He said, "Oh yeah, I want to sit down the whole time as well." But you're a ghost, Sir Alec. I'm a tired ghost, all right? I'm a tired ghost.
Yeah.
You guys, thank you so much. It's good to have a just to just open my mind and talk Star Wars for an hour or so after such a exciting week. It's good to decompress and not change a nappy. And for those wondering in the chat room, Jackie and Harrison, they're around the corner at a friend's house. That's I had a sweet safe haven of a couple of hours to record this. So, which brings me to I got to sizzle the Patreon, where you'll get for $1 a month, you get all the back episodes direct to your phone and the audio versions of these Hypernews, which that's the only place you can get the audio. Otherwise, you can watch on YouTube, which is, some people like, some people don't. And for $3, you get all our bonus shows, like making Steele Wars, the new episode of The Juklin Strikes Back that we just did, reviewing Star Wars Resistance, and our new baby, which is probably a first in Star Wars podcasting. And there's also a solo commentary that we just put up with Randy Lagudice and Jason Ward and myself. So there is, I think there's about 500 audio files there that you can tap into for either $1 or $3 a month. Alex and Mollie, you guys do amazing work on this very platform that I haven't shown much respect for the past hour, I have to say. But you guys absolutely destroy with daily content on Star Wars Explained. Tell us all about it.
Oh, you just did a pretty good job, I feel like.
Ah.
We do daily videos covering everything in Star Wars. We're just starting up a new Clone Wars rewatch. We're going through chronological, because I've never done that. I think this is only Mollie's.
Yeah, this is the first or second time I've gone through a lot of the episodes. Some of them I haven't even seen before.
This is your first time going in on purpose, start to finish.
Right.
In the past, you've just popped in and out while I was watching it. But,
yes.
So you're seeing it for the first time, kind of. I'm watching it chronological for the first time. We're going to cover all that while we wait for Clone Wars Saved.
Yeah, and we've got our podcast, Between Two Suns. Right now it's Patreon only, but it's available for everyone from $1 and up. We hope to make it public very soon.
When we get good at podcasting.
When we get good.
No, you can release them to the public for years before you get good at it. Trust me. I'm, as today proved, I'm still waiting for it to kick in, but we will get there. Thank you guys so much. It was really fun to talk Star Wars for you guys, and thanks everyone in the chat room. Thanks to our Patreon supporters, and hit like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave a comment if you want to discuss what we're talking about, and may that Force be with you. As a father,